to my bedroom door, I opened my bedroom door.
Did Miss White open it?
No, she was not in my room.
So Miss White is lying about that, isn't she?
Yes.
Likewise, were the men invited in to sit down and have Coca-Colas?
I don't know. I was sleeping.
But did you invite the men into your room and offer them Coca-Colas?
No, I did not.
And did you open the package that night and look at the contents?
No, I opened it in the morning and looked at the contents.
So she's lying about that as well, isn't she?
Correct.
And this detail, the witness thought Miss Campbell was disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Were you expressing any sense of disappointment to Carol White?
No, I did not, because as I said before, when I'm there to raise funds for a charity and I'm working, I would never have kept anything like that. That if I could give it to raise money for the children, that's what I would do, and that's what I did. That was my intention.
Mm. Now also this. The witness thought about the diamonds all night. That's Carol White. She knew it was illegal to take diamonds out of South Africa, although she doesn't really now know how she knew that. Now, pausing there, was that something within your knowledge?
No.
And did Carol White discuss with you or suggest to you that you were acting in some way illegally
No.
by accepting this gift?
No, she didn't.
The next morning, the witness and Miss Campbell and others boarded the blue train. Now just help me with this detail. You told us you were late for breakfast the following morning.
I'm always late. So.
And when you went downstairs, just picture the scene at breakfast for us. Were me and Pharaoh and your then agent, Carol White, sitting together at the breakfast table?
Yeah, I think some people had had their breakfast, like I said before, and some were still to come down.
But the two of them
were at
sitting
the breakfast
together,
table.
And you went and joined them.
Correct.
Now what she says is this. Boarded the blue train, the witness knew they had the diamonds, and she figured that she would probably be the one who wound up holding them and carrying them. She told Miss Campbell that she didn't think they should keep the diamonds. It could result in a scandal or even prison.
It's not correct, because I looked for Jeremy. I had them, and I gave them to Jeremy Ratcliffe.
But just taking matters in stages, did you have any such conversation with Carol White?
No.
The witness and Miss Campbell discussed the matter and decided to give the diamonds to Mr. Mandela's charity because they could do some good. Mm-hmm. That evening or the next day, the witness and Miss Campbell went to see Jeremy Ratcliffe in the train compartment he was sharing with his wife. Is that correct?
No, I gave the stones to Jeremy when I got on the train. Immediately I looked for him, gave them. But I'm not, as I said earlier, I don't recall if I gave them, because I'm not remembering if he was at the house to pick us up or if he met us at the train station.
Mr. Ratcliffe ran the Children's Fund at that time. The witness, Miss Campbell, and Mr. and Mrs. Ratcliffe were in the compartment when Miss Campbell gave the diamonds to Mr. Ratcliffe, who was horrified, but he reluctantly took them. Was Carol White present when you gave the pebbles?
I don't recall that she was, but she could have been, but I don't recall. It's 13 years ago.
Now, let us take a couple of minutes to look.
Actually, Mr. Griffiths, I'm interested to establish whether it is true that Mr. Ratcliffe was horrified. Is it true?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Was Mr. Ratcliffe horrified by the pouch that you handed to him?
Didn't express that he was horrified to me.
You mean he was not disturbed by you handing him unprocessed diamonds?
No, I asked him to take them and do something good with them. He's someone that I trust and I know for a while, and I believe that's what he would do.
Can I continue now, Madam President? Now let's have a look at the declaration of Mia Farrow, shall we? I've already mentioned that it's dated the 9th of November 2009. I was contacted by Nicholas Kumjin, a prosecutor for the Special Court for Sierra Leone, by email on the 10th of August 2009, and asked if I would consent to speak by phone. I gave Mr. Kumjin my phone number. He called and asked me if I recalled meeting Charles Taylor in South Africa, and I said I did. He then asked what I recalled about that meeting, and I explained that I had limited contact with Mr. Taylor, but was happy to relate what I remembered. I traveled to South Africa for an event to raise money for Nelson Mandela's children's charities, at the invitation of the then President of South Africa, Nelson Mandela. I believe this was about 1997. Other guests at the event that I recall included Naomi Campbell, Quincy Jones, and Jemima and Imran Khan. We were all staying at the government guest house in Pretoria. I remember arriving at the residence of President Mandela for a dinner party. There were others present when my children and I arrived. I was introduced by Graca Machel, now the wife of Nelson Mandela, to Charles Taylor, President of Liberia. A photographer moved towards us, but Miss Machel quickly moved me away from Mr. Taylor, whispering words to the effect, "We do not want you to be photographed with this man. He should have left. We're trying to get him to leave." Now, do you recall at any stage that evening anyone telling you that you shouldn't be photographed with Charles Taylor?
No, I don't recall that.
Because in fact a photograph was taken, wasn't
A group
it?
photo, correct.
And that's you, is it not, standing next to Charles Taylor and President Mandela?
Correct.
Is that right?
Mr. Griffiths, that's the kind of picture that should be on the overhead. We don't know what you're showing the witness.
I think we serve the copy in court management, and Your Honor should have a copy of that photograph in this blue bundle behind the third sticker.
I've seen the picture, I know.
Please put it on the overhead for the public to see.
Do you remember the photograph, Miss Campbell?
I do.
Well, normally in these proceedings, one would get a witness to change places and write the names of each individual. But I think we can recognize virtually everyone in that photograph. So I won't bother. Now, do you recall anyone telling you not to be photographed with...
Mr. Griffiths, whilst you and the witness are privy to the identities of these people, the judges certainly are not. So yes, we do, and I would appreciate that the identities of these people are put on the record.
Let's go from left to right, please, Miss Campbell.
Okay.
The female with the long hair, who's that?
Jemima Khan.
Yes.
And then Imran Khan.
Mm-hmm.
And then me.
Yes.
Charles Taylor,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Mandela, then President Mandela, Gracia Michelle, uh, I don't remember her name. She was the partner of Mr. Jones at the time.
Yes.
And Mr. Quincy Jones, Jemima Khan.
Please pause. Please pause. Please pause, Ms. Campbell. Please pause. I'm asking the court manager to ensure that there's a copy on the overhead whilst the witness is speaking. That's the way we normally do it. Now, I appreciate that she was writing something on another copy, but there should be a copy on the overhead so that we all follow the evidence.
I think there is a copy. They do have 2 copies available, Madam President.
Why wasn't it displayed? Why wasn't it being displayed while the witness was speaking?
Much obliged, Your Honor.
So what's happening? Was the witness writing the names, or what was happening?
The witness was writing the names on the copy before her, and I think there were a couple of unidentified individuals, but beyond that, the witness had successfully identified all the others present in this photograph. Is that right, Ms. Campbell?
Correct.
And just so that we know, and I'm sorry to inconvenience you, but I wonder if you could just change places with the court manager just for a moment. And for everybody's benefit, just using your finger this time rather than writing. Just starting from left to right. Who's who?
Jemima Khan, Imran Khan, myself, Charles Taylor, Mr. Mandela, Gracia Michelle, the partner of Mr. Jones at the time, Mr. Quincy Jones, Mia Farrow, and I don't recall his name.
Thank you very much. You can retake your seat, please. Now, we have a procedure which we have to adopt in this court, Ms. Campbell. I wonder if you could sign the back of the copy that you marked.
Of course.
And put today's date, which is the 5th of August. Madam President, can I ask for that to be marked for identification, please? MFI 1.
It'll have to be MFI 11. As you know, we have 10 MFIs before it that are pending. So that document, the photograph that has been marked by the witness, will be marked MFI 11.
I'm grateful. Now, the witness continued in this way, Miss Campbell. I did not have further contact with Mr. Taylor, and I believe he may have departed before the dinner. The next morning, when the other guests, my children, and I met for breakfast, Naomi Campbell was there and had an unforgettable story. She told us that she had been awakened in the night by knocking at her door. She opened the door to find 2 or 3 men, I do not recall how many, who presented her with a large diamond which they said was from Charles Taylor. Now, that's not correct, is it?
No, because he was at the dinner, and I didn't tell her size of the diamond, but I did tell her of the events of my door being knocked upon.
Did you tell her about the number of the pebbles that you received?
No.
Miss Campbell told us that she would be donating the diamond to Mandela's children's charities. As far as I recall, I did not see the diamond. Did you have such a discussion at the breakfast table with Mia Farrow?
No. Not about what my intentions was to find Jeremy. I had